I'm hot, be careful, she average. I'm pressure, yeah. I'm pressure, I'm pressure-licious, yeah. I'm pressure, I'm pressure, I'm pressure-licious, yeah.
She pressure-licious and I crave.
What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse, rants, no hate. So I want you guys to take a listen to Jaron Ennis and his thoughts about Terrence Crawford fighting against Avanesian.
Ennis, what's good, Bruce?
What's going on?
I'm chilling, man.
Chilling.
Alright, news broke. Terrence Crawford ended, pulled out of negotiations with Earl Spence, and now he's fighting David Avanesian. What's your thoughts on that fight?
I mean, we thought we was gonna get Spence and Crawford, but you know, what can you do? You know, I mean, that's still a good fight, though.
Now, David Avanesian is ranked, I think, like 6th or 7th in the WBO. Are you? Terrence Crawford is facing some criticism for skipping by Keith Thurman, yourself, Kyler Ben, Virgil Ortiz for picking David Avanesian.
Yeah.
Were you shocked that nobody else got a phone call?
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't think he was gonna fight him. If anything, I was thinking Keith Thurman. Like, if he wasn't gonna fight Spence, I thought he was gonna fight Keith Thurman.
Did you get a phone call about that fight or for a potential fight for Terrence Crawford?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I ain't getting a phone call. You know, I would have took that in a heartbeat.
Now, David Avanesian is a guy that you pursued for a fight. I think your dad said they said later on they fight you later on.
Yeah, I was trying to fight him my last fight, and then they said they had needed a warm up or something like that, and I think they wound up taking the fight in like June or something like that, and then I don't know. So I don't know what was going on, but he was definitely one of the guys I was trying to fight to stay busy.
Now, you worked yourself up to be either #1 or #2 in practically every sanctioned body.
Yeah.
Is it frustrating seeing them basically pick passion to guys that, you know, they tell you to earn your way up to #1, but then they pick a guy that's at #7?
I mean, I ain't really too worried about these other guys. I feel like everything falling right in place. For real. Everything fall right in place, right in line. And they gonna have to see me either way, so it don't even really matter.
What's the fight that you want next?
Anybody that got a world title, so that's Earl Spence, but he been staying on it, so it don't even matter anybody with a belt. You know, I ain't trying to go backwards, I'm trying to go forward. Make a great name for myself, and show these guys who the real best welterweight in the world is.
Now, let me just say, see, I appreciate the way Jaron Ennis is talking and the way he's thinking. And like I said, the problem with a whole lot of fighters, with most of them, is they talk like that when they're hungry. And then once they get to that point, they start doing the same things that they complain about. Hopefully, Jaron Boots Ennis won't be one of those guys. But look, Jaron Boots Ennis, Keith Thurman, Virgil Ortiz. Now you guys see what I was talking about in my last 2 videos. If Terrence Crawford is the one who walked away, not Spence. All right, let's just get that out there first of all. I don't care who you like and who you want to win and whose side you taking. I don't care about all that petty nonsense. Let's just say it like it is. Crawford's the one that walked away. He said he's going to go and fight this guy Avanesian, and after he beat him, then he's coming back for Errol Spence. You guys couldn't even agree to terms. And see, I feel like there's information being hidden from the public. This is why it's like, okay. I think back to this interview with Akim Barak at The Zone. They asked Terrence Crawford a question. Remember, I think they asked him, like, would you fight Errol Spence if he said 50-50? And that interview wasn't too long ago. And Terrence Crawford said, I don't think so. And he's like, what? It's like, why not? He's like, because I'm past that. Then he started talking about how when he was even at 140, how he was calling out for Spence and all, and Crawford and all these guys, and he was telling him to go get a belt. Then when he went and got a belt, they still wouldn't fight him. So he's saying he's past that. Okay, well, if you're past undisputed, who is it that you want to fight then? Jamel Charlo already told you, you talking about coming up here to 154, you're gonna get hurt. Like go fight Errol Spence. Go fight somebody at 147. You just trying to, be an opportunist, trying to jump from title fight to title fight. And basically, just that alone, it's like, okay, hold up. No different from when I got on Spence for saying, go get a belt first. Then he did go get a belt. Then he said, why not take the easy route and fight Shawn Porter? He got a belt too. I spoke about all that before. But thinking about it, that was my whole thing. If you feel, and look, you said Spence don't want to fight as bad as you do, and you moved on, which is why I don't believe this fight will ever happen. What you want to say? Oh, okay, let me go do what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to fight him. And Spence is going to wait for you. No, Spence has a fight coming up. And let's say both of you guys win. Okay, does that guarantee that you guys are going to fight each other next? And I think the public is getting sick and tired of waiting. I know me personally, I've gotten past it. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I want y'all to pay attention to this. Jaron Boots Ennis said he was trying to call out Avanesian as a stay busy fight. So a guy that people are saying isn't ready for Spence or for Crawford, which I think is BS. I think he's ready for all those guys. He's as ready as he's going to be. This is a guy who is ranked higher than Avanesian. This is a guy who's hungry and wants to fight. And what I'm saying, instead of Crawford walking off to go and fight this guy, this Avanesian guy, he could have easily, that's what I said, either him or, did I not say that? Him or Errol Spence could have said, okay, he's going to say, since he's going to walk away, I'm going to call out Keith Thurman or Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz. And if Crawford was going to say, you know what, Spencer's filler, he don't want to fight. You know what? Let me call out Keith Thurman. Let me try to negotiate one of those guys. No, instead, just like that, bam, he's fighting this guy Avanesian. Well, if a guy that you guys are overlooking purposely, because y'all know he's a threat, but you want to make it seem like I ain't nobody worried about Jaron Ennis, so right? You're fighting a guy that he was looking to fight as a stay busy fight. And you're trying to make it like this is like a really a good fight. Listen, I've seen, I was watching Avanesian fight since this whole situation happened. And there's nobody other than an Avanesian family member who would rather see him fight Terrence Crawford than Boots Ennis or Thurman or Virgil Ortiz. So, just saying, looking at that situation, I just feel like I don't think that fight's going to happen. And then I thought about that interview. I kind of forgot about that interview actually. And I'm like, you know what? And Crawford did say, he damn sure did say that he was looking past that he was past that he don't know that he would take the fight even if it was 50-50. And then that made me think, nah, wait a minute, you know what? So, like I said, they never told us where the negotiations fell apart. We haven't been in full disclosure with anything about what happened. All we know is Crawford's moved on. So, how bad did Crawford really want this fight as well? It's not, you got to look at both sides, but you got to look at, what people say and do. Okay? And this is where, like, it gets annoying listening to these people talk because, you got one guy like, excuse me, it's like when Tyson Fury was saying, when they asked him the question on Sports Talk, and they asked him, certainly you want to fight Alexander Usyk. And what did he say? No, not really. I really have no interest in fighting. The guy's a middleweight. No, he clearly said that. And then the following week, all of a sudden, he issues a challenge to Manuel Charr and said, well, first I got to take care of the middleweight first. Then all of a sudden, I ain't fight. You know, you want the fight? $500 million. Remember that. And then all of a sudden, the fight doesn't happen regardless. But it's like, you know what? Okay. It's like I said, man. It's like somebody walking into a room and go, is Aries here? Nah, Aries not here. You sure? Man, Aries is in Florida. Oh, man, if Aries was here, that's like, you know, you got to look and think, well, why didn't the fight happen? Nobody's telling you anything. So we're hearing everything from the PBC is broke, Showtime is having issues, you know, all kinds of nonsense. We know, one thing we know for sure that it can't be is a lack of interest in this fight. But I think people are getting turned off now to the point where even if the talk coming up again, it's like, man, whatever. I've gotten to the point with these two where I said I believe it when I see it. But with this happening, it's like, yeah, I really don't think that fight's going to happen. What has to happen for these guys to get in the ring? And, you know, Terrence Crawford is a free agent right now. So understand something. I think for Crawford, what he's not going to say, but I think what he's trying to do is capitalize and make as much money as he possibly can, even if it's against a meatball. Because whatever wasn't going right in negotiations, and then we hear one thing, and this is one of the most pettiest situations I ever saw. All we heard is finger pointing. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. Okay, but what's the details? And I'm just glad that I saw this interview, because at the end of the day, there's no reason that either one of these guys couldn't have fought a worthy opponent. And that's my point. This is not only undisputed, man. This is a legacy fight between two of the best fighters in the world. And instead of that happening, you fight Avenesian. And, you know, look, like somebody pointed out about at least the guy, Stanley, or however you say his name, is a prospect. Yeah, he's a prospect. But at the same time, well, for that to be the case, would you rather see him fight him or Jaron Ennis? Do you think that guy would beat Jaron Ennis or Virgil Ortiz? Absolutely not. So even in that sense, that's the whole point of what I'm saying. Now I'm hearing, oh, they're sanctioning him to have to fight him. Like, okay, wait a minute. This is for undisputed. Terrence Crawford has a belt too. How come nobody's sanctioning him to have to fight anybody? He just pulls out. And like you heard, you know, he's ranked by most sanctioning bodies 1 or 2. You know, Jaron Ennis. So at some point, he's going to have to fight one of them. And I think that at least to not get undisputed is still not going to be the same, because it's for undisputed and it's Crawford and it's Spence. But at least the respect would have been like, okay, ain't nobody trying to shortcut. We see what's going on, because they're fighting quality opponents. And that's all I was saying from the very beginning. And now you're hearing this come out. So just saying, you know, I'm sitting here looking now. I'm not even going to watch this video, but somebody has a video up saying Rick Glacier explains why Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fight didn't happen. You know, yeah, well, I'm not going to watch this video, but I will look to see what this guy had to say before I even talk about it, if I talk about it, because if it's just speculation, then it's nothing. It's not news. Yeah, it's not news, you know. But if something actually happens, where you know there's actual information, then yeah, I will talk about it. But yeah, just saying. Well, and Al Heyman is a target. They're saying he's up to his old tricks. So you know, whatever's going on, the point is the fight's not happening, and I don't think it ever will happen. And for whatever reasons, these fighters get in the ring with other people and they don't want to fight the guys that's available to them. The other elite guys that want to fight them. And, for people to say, well, fighting Jaron Ennis is high risk and low reward because he's not well known. Yeah, well, nobody knows Avanesian either. And like I said before, you always have to understand, a fighter can get hurt in a fight. They can break their hand, pull a muscle, tear a muscle, something can go wrong, and then they lose. Then what? I mean, Anthony Joshua was supposed to fight Jarrell Miller, and then look at what happened. Look at what happened. And when he lost to Andy Ruiz, it was like, what? This little fat, what? You understand? But he went back and got the belt back in the rematch. But the point was like, people still was like, I still can't believe this little fat, pudgy motherfucker beat AJ. Like, it happens. It happens. And for Terrence Crawford to not say why, it's always like they want to start trying to talk somewhat in parables, try to, like leave riddles and clues and stuff. And man, just get to the goddamn point. Why'd you pull out? Just saying. So I think that he's going to fight Avanesian. Spencer's going to have his fight, and I think that they're just going to go their separate ways. That's what I think. We'll see what happens. If it does happen, it happens. If not, then hey, talk to me in the comment section. What y'all think about Jaron Boots Ennis? What do you have to say? Referencing Crawford and Errol Spence. Never fall in love with lies. And do y'all think that this is just basically the beginning of the end as far as the two of them fighting? And if they do, it might come down the road where one of them lose or both of them lose, and they wind up crossing paths or something. And I still don't think that's going to happen, because I still think that sooner or later, Errol Spence is going to 154. So I don't think this fight's going to happen. Anyway, like I said, talk to me in the comment section. Enough talking.